Now that you have your sounds the way you like them, let's take a look at how you can further tweak them with some of the options available to you at the final output stage, as well as find ways to be more creative with how the instrument is played. The output section is relatively simple. At the top left-hand corner is where you will control the instrument's overall volume with the level control. Control its panning with the pan control, as well as control the amplitude of the audio over time with the standard Adsr envelope. The envelope is the same as the one we looked at in video 3. However, that envelope was used to control specific aspects of the instrument. This envelope is used to alter only the amplitude level of the output over time. So attack will control how fast the audio reaches its peak level when a note is played. The decay determines how long it takes for the audio level to drop from its peak value to its sustained value. And the sustained value is the amplitude level when the note is held. The release value will affect how fast the amplitude will fall from its sustained value to infinity after the note is released. This may be hard to hear, but to get a better idea of what is going on, let's have a look at your host application's level meters. With the release set to its highest value, after releasing the key, you can see the meter show the levels slowly dropping. If I'm to bring the release all the way down, upon releasing the key, you can see the level suddenly drop off. The output also includes a global pitch shifting section. Using the transpose slider, you can apply a pitch shifting to the entire output by either +24 or -24 semitones. If you are looking for fine tuning with pitch shifting, then you may want to use the fine pitch shift, which allows you to apply pitch shifting in smaller increments known as cents. The range here is plus to minus 100 cents. Glide mode can be commonly found on most synthesizers. Glide is the interaction that happens when playing one note after another. Simply put, instead of the note going directly from one pitch to another, the note will gradually glide from pitch to pitch. The length of time that it takes to glide from one note to another is set with the time glide control. There are two switches that control how the glide works. When the first switch is set to static, the glide time is fixed regardless of the jump size. When this switch is set to vary for variable, then the glide will vary according to the pitch differential of the notes being played. Notes closer in pitch will have a shorter glide time, whereas notes further apart will have a longer glide time. The second switch will help tell the glide control which notes to apply the glide to. With the switch set to held, then only the notes that overlap while being played will have glide applied to them. If the switch is set to bend, then every note played, regardless if it is overlapped or not, will have the glide applied to it. The glide can play a big part in creating a unique playing style when used in conjunction with a monopolyphony. When the poly switch is set to poly, then the instrument is in multi-polyphony mode, meaning that multiple notes can be played at the same time. If you set this switch to mono, then the instrument is only capable of playing one note at a time. When enabled, while playing one note, playing another note will create the instrument to change its pitch to play only the new note that was played. Once releasing this note, the instrument will again change its pitch back to the first note that was played. That is, if the note is still being held. As mentioned, this can really work well in conjunction with glide mode, so that notes being played will appear to have some movement to them. I should also mention that when playing in mono mode, holding down one note while playing another will not re-trigger the various envelopes. It will simply change the pitch of the oscillators. Moving along, we have the Unison section. Unison is a unique effect that is used to simulate the illusion of one or more sound sources. It does this by splitting the sound into multiple voices. Then apply a different amount of detuning to each voice before mixing them back together. As each voice is slightly different, the sound will appear to have multiple sources, giving it a much richer, thicker sound. To enable Unison, you simply need to set how many voices you want to use. This will determine how many parts the sound is split into. Immediately, you'll hear a difference. Use the Unison detune parameter to control how much detuning is applied to the individual voices. Increasing this value will make the effect more prominent. Use the Unison panning to spread individual voices across the stereo field, giving the instruments an even richer, fuller sound. Use the octave switch to have all the unison values of an even number pitched up one octave. The read trig switch will reset the phase of all unison voices each time a note is played. And with that, we conclude our look at the Opus section. In the next video, we will look at the various DSP effects available to you in SAR.